Someone you love is going to die. And a very long time ago, that happened to someone for the very first time. There was no funeral, no instructions. Nobody on Earth had ever done this before. Just a confused human standing over a body with no idea what comes next. So what did they do? The answers are sweet, disturbing, and one of them is genuinely insane. Here's something nobody tells you. A dead body isn't just sad, it's a logistics problem. It's 200,000 years ago. It's you, your small group, and a cave. Someone dies, and now you're holding a body that, and I need you to understand this, does not stay pleasant. Predators can smell it. It can make the whole group sick. And you have feelings about this person. You know that 10 seconds of panic when your phone dies and you don't know what to do with your hands? That. Except it's a person, and the stakes are everyone's survival. So humans invented the most human idea there is, doing something on purpose with the dead. The earliest thing we ever found is also the bleakest. There's a cave in Spain with a hole in the floor, and if you drop a stone in, you wait a long time before you hear it land. At the bottom of that hole, at least 28 people, 430,000 years ago. Your brain says, okay, they were just dumping bodies. But down there, with all those people, they found exactly one other thing. Not a tool, not trash. A single hand axe carved from blood-red stone. And under a microscope, it had never cut anything, ever. Someone made a beautiful object for the single purpose of throwing it into a grave. That's not a garbage pit. That might be the oldest goodbye on Earth. Now fast forward and meet the Neanderthals. The ones everyone calls dumb cavemen, who buried their dead with more care than some people put into wrapping a gift. They dug graves, they laid people on their side, knees tucked up, like they'd just fallen asleep. And sometimes they covered them in red ochre, a deep red powder, so the body looked full of color again instead of pale. In one cave, there was so much flower pollen around a grave that for years people believed Neanderthals buried their dead under flowers. Scientists now think it was probably bees and rodents. Let them have it. But here's the part that gets me. A Neanderthal couldn't read, couldn't write, had no word for ceremony, and still looked at a body and thought, not like this, gently, with color. You and someone from 60,000 years ago landed on the same exact instinct. When someone dies, you tuck them in. Okay, so far this has been emotional. Let's ruin that. Fast forward to a town called Jericho. People there had a problem with burial. You put Grandpa in the ground and then he's gone. You can't see him anymore. So they came up with a fix, an unhinged one. They dug Grandpa back up and took the skull. They covered it in wet plaster and sculpted his face back on. Then they pressed seashells into the eye sockets so it looked like he was looking right back at you. And they kept it in the house, on the shelf. So while you complain about a framed photo on the wall, these people had the actual face on the actual skull watching them eat breakfast for generations. That's not a memory. That's a roommate. I promised you insane. Here it is. In a cave in England about 14,000 years ago, archaeologists found human bones that had been carefully cleaned, cut, and chewed by other humans. But here's the twist. It wasn't war. It wasn't starvation. They weren't enemies. These were their own people, their own dead. And scientists think this was the funeral. Eating the dead was how you kept them inside you, literally. They even shaped some of the skulls into cups. Your gut says, that is horrifying. But flip it for 1 second. We bury people to keep them close. We keep ashes in jars on the shelf. Some people get tattoos with a loved one's ashes mixed into the ink. That is happening right now in 2026. The line between beautiful tribute and absolutely unhinged is a lot thinner than your brain wants to admit. And one last one, because it's quietly the most powerful. Some humans didn't bury, burn, or keep their dead at all. They gave them to the sky. They carried the body up a mountain, laid it on bare rock, and walked away. And by morning, the birds had carried them off in every direction at once. Think about what that takes. No grave to visit, no bones to hold. You don't get a place to come back to. You just have to trust the world to take care of them. That might be the bravest goodbye humans ever invented. So line all of this up. 5 answers. A pit, a grave, a kept skull, a funeral meal, an empty mountain. Separated by hundreds of thousands of years, thousands of miles, by people who could never have met or spoken or shared a single idea, and every one of them reached for the exact same thing. Not how do we get rid of this body, but how do we not lose you? Think about how old that is. Before farming, before writing, before we even had a word for soul, we already refused to treat the people we loved like they were nothing. That instinct in you, the one that keeps a dead grandparent's phone number saved, that wears their old sweater, that stands at a grave and talks, that is not modern. It's the oldest software in the human heart. You've been running a program that's been passed down, unbroken, for 500,000 years. And one day, someone is going to stand in a room without you in it and have to figure out what to do. And just like that very first confused human, they'll do something on purpose because you mattered. That's not death. That's the most human thing there is. So that's what ancient humans did with the bodies. And if your brain is now itching with a question you've never once thought to ask before, good. There's another one already waiting for you.